everybody, it's me, Bill Cosby for Laughable. Go on this app and you can hear your favorite comedian on your favorite pod. All right, I am not getting paid to say this. You guys listen to a lot of podcasts, right? And you want to find out when your favorite comics are on. Well, Laughable's made it really easy for that. God, this is good live read. This is fucking good. I should be paid for this. All right, Laughable's an app where you can search for different comedians. You can search for comics by name, and you can find shows that they've been on. So you're like, oh, I like Dan Soder. I like Julie Klausner. I like Richard Spencer. Whoever you like, you know. You can search them and hear appearances they've made on different shows. So check out Laughable for that. It's a good app. It's easy to use, and we use it every day.
Hell yeah.
Thanks. Hello and welcome to the Bill Cosby podcast. I got a podcast now. Wouldn't that be funny if he did that?
He should. He should, because you know what? Here's the deal. Here's the one guy I have
People
not
out
heard.
there.
Here's the one guy I've not heard from. Him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of conjecture, a lot of hearsay.
Right.
Some of it believable.
Right.
You know, because just the sheer preponderance of people saying it.
Yeah.
But where's he been?
Mm-hmm. It would be nice. It would be nice if we could hear him talk for an hour every week and promote Blue Apron. You know?
Yeah. Fair question.
That's Tim Dillon that we're talking to today on the show. Tim Dillon of Tim Dillon is Going to Hell.
Welcome.
Tim Dillon of Netflix.
Thank you.
Comedy Central.
Of Netflix. If you asked anyone at Netflix who I am, they'd be like, "What?"
Yeah.
Be like, "Oh, he did a 15-minute comedy special." They're like, "Oh, we're doing those?" And be like, "Yeah, it's part of the 700."
Still a big deal though.
700 things they ordered this year. They want to make 90 movies this year. No movie studios ever made more than 20.
Yeah.
They want to make 90. So.
They want all their programming to be original, right?
Yeah, I think, and they're also like trying to build an international follow. I mean, it's cool. It was cool. I enjoyed it, and hopefully it got some, people like it. But
Yeah.
it's in a sea of stuff.
I don't understand how the money works because they're like so far in debt.
Well, they
But-
have long-term and short-term debt. Their subscriber base is growing. They make.
I don't understand how those
I see.
retards over there do anything.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to work with them.
Yeah,
at
we're
some point.
sitting- we're sitting
Matt
in a-
just,
we're-
Matt
we're-
just fucked me.
Yeah, we're sitting in an apartment. He's like, I don't
Yeah.
understand how it works. I'm like, of course you don't.
Right,
If you
right.
did, you'd have a job.
You're poor. Yeah. You have
You
a poor person's mentality.
Hey, I've got a job.
You'd have a job. What do you do? What's your job?
I work in production, so
Okay,
it's
that's
like
good.
random days during the week, and it's like
Yeah.
web content, so it's real easy.
That sounds fun.
Tim is great for like you'll be feeling good about your life, and then he'll be like, "What do you do? You're poor."
Yo, you don't see any
have
roommates
nothing.
around here,
You
Tim?
should
Come
kill
on.
yourself.
You have your girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but she left for a week, so the
Where'd
house
she
is
go?
mine.
See, that's nice.
Louisiana.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You're gonna get married. You got to put a ring on that. It's time
Yeah.
to do it. It's
It is time.
Yeah.
It's time to start doing it. Have the kids.
Both of us, right?
Give up the dreams. Get real. It's time to get real, boys. Enough with the nonsense.
Time to get
You know?
real.
It ain't happening. Kevin Hart's not. Nobody in this room's gonna have that story.
No.
I'll die in a hotel room, but that's exactly how I want to go.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna die on some guy's couch in Cleveland this week.
What happened?
I ate a bad. I went to his. I ate a bad chicken nugget.
Dude, Cleveland's got some nasty food.
Yeah,
It's got some
Yeah,
nasty
yeah.
sausage, cheese, like food that just sits in your stomach, doesn't go anywhere.
yeah.
Not even gas, just like a fucking like tumor.
Just doesn't digest.
It just doesn't go anywhere.
Have you had Cincinnati chili?
Yeah, it's like gross.
Yeah, it's
This is,
bizarre.
like
It's,
gross.
Yeah.
This is like
What's that?
It's
They put it
chili,
on-
but it's
they put it on
spaghetti.
yeah. It's I will
It's
say
like
this, man.
somebody's white trash mom made it for them between her getting beaten by her.
That's Cincinnati spaghetti.
Dude, if it's
Yeah.
like if it ain't New York or the West Coast, like Mexican and Thai and all that stuff, or it's
Yeah.
not New Orleans or it's not the South, it's like leave that whole Midwest thing. I'm good on all that.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
what I mean?
You don't like that
Right.
Detroit pizza?
Yeah,
with the
I'm
Detroit
good on-
pizza's good.
crust?
Detroit pizza's
yeah,
good.
whatever.
Yeah,
You
all right,
know,
all
it's
right.
whatever.
Fair enough.
Need to be in Detroit pizza. You could get a fucking hypodermic needle submerged in your fucking neck on the way to get it.
Yeah.
Oh well, this does have negatives.
Yeah, I watched that show Barry on HBO.
Is it about Obama?
It's about
It's Obama, and he plays a hitman.
Oh, does he?
It's Obama. It's Obama, and he fucks Lena Dunham.
That's great.
Yeah. Where's she?
Progressive.
She's got to deal with HBO.
Okay.
She's just quieting down because she remember that whole thing when she's like, "Hey, men have to be held accountable," and then somebody accused one of her friends of rape, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Not him,
Not him.
No,
not this
everybody
guy.
but him.
Everybody but him."
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Hollywood. It's almost like they're all fake. I mean, it's almost like that. Jeez, wow.
Not us though, right, boys?
We're sitting in a room in Astoria. Give us time.
Yeah. Right.
100%
A room in Astoria telling the truth.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's why I like it.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
goes in cycles. You know, she gets loud every 3 years, and then she comes back down.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, I watched that show Barry with Bill Hader, and the whole thing is like he plays like a good hitman,
Yeah.
like a hitman that kills bad guys.
Yeah.
And you see that in TV and movies a lot, and I think that's fake. That's completely fake. The guy who kills people, but he's got principles. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think after The Sopranos, there was a lot of the that archetype of the anti-hero,
Mm-hmm.
like the guy you didn't want to root for, but you kind of did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, so you had like Breaking Bad, Walter White,
Yeah.
Tony Soprano. You had like House of Cards, Kevin Spacey, because you like he's a bad guy,
Yeah.
but you love him. You
Mhm.
like you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. The guy that kills people that has morals. It's
You said Barry, and I immediately thought of Gross Point Blank. You know, 20 years old.
yeah.
So it's not like it's a completely new idea.
Speaking of John Cusack, you know the movie Better Off Dead from the
Yeah.
80s? Dan Schneider was in that from Nickelodeon.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really love this.
What?
You're big on the Dan Schneider.
Yeah, I mean, you got
He's
to
a-
do something.
Anti-boy fucking crusader over here.
I think he was
doing my
fucking
part.
girls. He was a heterosexual pedophile.
He was a heterosexual
yeah.
pedophile.
Oh, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
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 But he was
Matt, come on. Let's not slander the guy.
yeah. I had a meeting.
Let's not disrespect.
I had a meeting at Nickelodeon once. All Nickelodeon is in LA is fat nerds eating donuts.
Mhm.
You know, like if everyone there isn't a pedophile,
Mhm.
there's you know what I mean? Like
Right, it's something weirder.
Something's weird.
Well, if they're not pedophiles, it's worse.
Right. Like
Yeah.
I'm a grown man and I'm just going to sit. I'm just a morbidly obese grown man who
Yeah.
loves talking cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that guy's got an issue.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
There's some executive somewhere at Nickelodeon who's like, it's terrible what Dan Schneider did. We're going to get rid of him. We're going to clean house. And then he goes to his basement, just fucks a dead old woman.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you think they're dropping a nasty story on Schneider? You think that's what Nickelodeon got out in front of it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I
There's
read the
there's very
joint
little-
statement. Like they're like, oh, $7 million buyout, you know, good for you. Good luck in the future, you know, no hard feelings. But I was reading about like it was all coming to a head because they weren't going to renew his new show. And he has like a famous bad temper.
Mhm.
So,
Right. Well, I mean, I want to talk about like hitman because usually a hitman is like, you know, there's this idea that like he's okay, but a lot of times it's like, you know, kill this politician and don't worry if his family's in the room or there's not that. I don't think that exists in the real world.
No, you got to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
It's your job,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, that's the whole deal, right? Like defense attorneys always say, I don't care if my client's innocent.
Yeah.
It's about the integrity of the system.
Mhm.
Isn't that a hitman too? Like, I just got to do this job. I mean, this whole idea that like you're only going to kill people that fucking deserve it. Number
Yeah.
one, everyone deserves it.
Right.
Number two, you're not killing innocent people. You're killing some fucking schmuck
Yeah.
that got behind on a debt or got
Yeah.
into business, got in over his head. You know, I mean, obviously there are people that, you know, unfortunately have to get it too. The wife, the kids, the dog, witnesses.
If they're there, yeah.
If they're there.
Right.
That's why you do a lot to fucking, you know, minimize the collateral damage.
Mhm.
But, you know, that's a hard guess to get, like a hitman. But that'd be an interesting guy.
Yeah.
Sociopath,
Yeah.
cold-blooded. But I
Yeah.
mean, here's the deal, and this will be controversial. People don't want to probably hear this, but like, what does the military do?
Yeah.
Just go kills people.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
You're in a fucking helicopter. They're like, kill that guy.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Just kill him. All right.
Yeah.
You don't ask.
Yeah.
You don't ask. And then fucking 2 weeks later, you find out like, oh, that guy was a baker.
Right.
You know, that guy.
Right.
Oh, who was that? That was Abdul Hassan. We were trying to kill Abdul Hajjah. Oh, it's well.
Oh well.
Well, you know, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We kill a lot of innocent people. We do. And
Literally,
that's, you know,
like you don't
not- we
find out
shouldn't.
though, you know, like the only person that's ever found out was Chelsea Manning. you know?
yeah.
Have you ever heard that Jim Jeffries story where they're in the helicopter and there's a guy shooting? He's like doing a show for the troops.
Yeah.
And there's a guy shooting at the helicopter, and he's like, "Yeah, don't worry, his bullets can't reach us." And Jim Jeffries is like, "I bet ours can reach him." And the guy goes, "Yeah, watch." And he just fucking killed the dude.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, you know, all this stuff with gun control now. You see like that like woke troop argument where it's like, you know, I carried this gun in Afghanistan. It doesn't belong here. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it doesn't really belong over there either.
Yeah,
You're just
right.
shooting kids for sport.
Yeah.
You know?
I killed a 3-year-old with this weapon,
Yeah.
and it doesn't belong in schools.
Right.
I kill kids. I don't want them with guns.
Right.
What
Brad-
happens if kids have guns? Then we're all fucked.
Yeah, brown kids that talk funny.
Yeah, I had a fucking thing about that whole thing because I agree with the kids. I agree with a lot of what they're saying. I think you should ban assault weapons, but I hate those kids. Like, I don't like them, and I don't like that
Yes.
they have Twitter followers for no reason, and I don't like this whole cult of celebrity. So
It's
I
too
believe
much, yeah.
it's too much. So I believe we should kill those kids. We should shoot them and then ban assault weapons. I don't want any more kids to die except those kids. Like I think we should shoot them all in the face and then we should not have assault weapons. Like, get rid of assault weapons. I'm with that.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Repeal the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Repeal it. But shoot those kids in their face.
Yeah.
Those 5 Parkland kids in the front of a Time magazine, Swiss cheese. I mean, boom. And let them know we're doing it. Consent. Be like, we're going to shoot you in the face.
Because you know what? Because if we don't do that, you know what is going to happen?
What?
We're going to elect Emma Gonzalez like supreme leader, and
Here's
she's going to put us all in a gulag.
The problem right now is that we're living in a country of like everyone is an emotional wreck. Everyone's on the verge of a breakdown constantly, and everybody needs villains and heroes. Every minute, villains and heroes. Someone to hate,
Right.
someone to love.
Right.
Nothing rational.
Right.
No perspective.
Right.
No sober analysis. I need someone to hate, and I need someone to love. I need someone to be a hero and a god. Wait till they dig up the tweets from these kids. That's coming.
Yeah.
That's coming.
Yeah.
When David Hogg was like, "Do you fuck you, faggot?"
Yeah.
That's
Oh, of
coming.
course.
That's coming. Wait till they find out that one of these kids. I mean, listen, this is what we do as a I'm telling you, then everyone's going to get real quiet. You know, hero.
Everything always swings way too far.
Yeah,
right?
it's just and there's I understand why, because here's the deal. If they do repeal the Second Amendment, there will be people that say, "Why'd you repeal the Second Amendment?" And here's the reality: because the NRA didn't give an inch. Nobody wanted any sensible gun restrictions.
Right.
Nobody wanted any sensible legislation. So yeah, there's an overcorrection.
Yeah.
When you have white guys front and center for all of Hollywood, and then the last few years are not front and center, it is an overcorrection. But why has that been the case? Because everybody previously was so unwilling to fucking put people in. Nobody gave an inch.
Yeah.
So we got to kill these kids.
Shoot them in the face.
Weren't they
We
like
really
already?
are. I mean, we really are putting too much on them, I think.
They wanted
and
it. They were like already in like the theater department, you know, and like
Were they?
yeah.
I heard they were
They're
rehearsing
crisis
for it.
actors.
Yeah. I heard they were practicing for a long time.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you can either live in a country where the emotional appeal matters or it doesn't. So you can't tell me that when Trump brings families of people that were killed by MS-13 to the State of the Union and has them stand up, you can't say that that's not appropriate, but this is. So we're either living in a country where everybody has the right to speak or nobody does. So I'd rather nobody. I'd rather nobody have an emotional... No, honestly, I'd rather policy get decided with facts and statistics. I'd rather that. I don't want anyone emotionally connect. If something horrible happens to me, that does not mean that I can go out and then require the entire country to change a policy on something strictly on the basis of my emotional, visceral reaction to something. In the same way that, like, we shouldn't demonize all immigrants because MS-13 is a problem, okay? We shouldn't demonize all gun owners because there was a school shooting. So, but the problem is people are so on their fucking team. They're like, oh, well, this one's okay, but that's not. It's like, no, everyone stop crying and let's talk about facts.
But does that mean if you feel something, you shouldn't use that to make policy?
You can feel any way. I don't care how you feel. What you feel is immaterial. Doesn't matter. My mother's a schizophrenic. She feels that people are bugging her oatmeal and listening to her conversations. It doesn't, how she feels doesn't matter.
Right.
What matters is, are people doing that or not? The reality is, what should we do about any issue is never dictated by what someone feels. It should be dictated by cold, hard facts. And the facts on the issue are with the kids that, yeah, there's way too much. It's too much easy to get a gun. Way too easy to get a gun.
Yeah.
That being said, there's another set of facts that say gun violence has been falling since 1993. There's another set of facts that say you're more likely to be killed by lightning than in a school shooting. But none of those matter because, listen, nobody wants to have their head blown off in school. I get that.
Right.
But I still think what you feel is not policy. It doesn't, why do I care about what you feel? I then have to know the motivations for what you feel, which is an impossible task. I then have to dig deep inside of you and figure stuff out. That shouldn't be my job. We should just look at facts.
Yeah. Deborah had a good point the other day. She was like, I got an idea for these school shootings. What we should do is, there's a lot of stray dogs that need jobs.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, she's like, we should put them in school.
She's not wrong.
Yeah.
She's not wrong.
Attack
There
dogs.
should be
Every school should have 5 Dobermans
No, there
that are just
should-
ready to
listen,
rip apart a school shooter.
There should be dogs for kids to shoot if they
Right.
get angry. I agree with Deborah.
yeah.
There should be
Okay.
another living thing that's not a person who should get shot.
Jeez.
Did you read about that school that
You're
had?
going to run for office someday,
I'm
aren't
gonna.
you? Yeah.
I thought about it today. I'll be honest with you. I think I'm gonna. I really believe that.
They'll
Get a
find
nice
your
little
tweets.
This,
follow.
though.
No, I don't care. Trump's the president.
That's
You
true.
can't play that game
Yeah.
anymore. This cuck. Like the reality is,
I was
he is the
listening to you.
definition of a cuck.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
He's like, they're gonna find your tweets.
Dude, it's so funny.
No production.
He's like trying to do comedy, and he asked me like recently, or no, he
Oh,
asked me and
God.
Andy. He was like, "Do you think I could get a spot if I offered to like tape a show
Oh,
for
boy.
people?"
He's the
And it's
guy
like,
that lets.
Matt,
This is the
just
guy
get-
that
Oh,
lets
boy.
Kevin Spacey take a shit on his chest in
Give me a roll.
2007.
Give me a
Like,
roll.
Kevin Spacey would be shitting all over
I
his
would
chest.
let him
And
do that.
Kevin Spacey, by the way, for extra work, like this, he
Because-
wouldn't even have a
right.
speaking
Oh,
role.
come on,
Right.
come
for
on,
an
come on.
extra work.
Featured extra. Give me a SAG card.
And the problem is Kevin Spacey doesn't just walk up to you and say, "Let me shit on your chest." There's steps, and
Right.
you have to allow
Yeah,
you
no.
allow him to.
You gotta let his
absolutely.
handlers fuck
Yeah,
me
so
first.
he would like but he would like come into your trailer if you had a trailer. I don't know. He would keep his hand on you for too long
Yeah.
or something, do some creepy stuff, and you would allow all of that till
Matt
he's-
would just sit
yeah,
there
till he's
silently, and
coming
then,
on you.
and then
Silent.
Matt would just sit there silently, and Kevin Spacey wouldn't say anything, and then Matt would just come out with it. Matt would be like, Kevin Spacey would be like, "All right, he would get up to leave the trailer," and Matt's like, "You don't want to like shit on my chest, do you?" Kevin's like, "Yes, man, I do.
He's like,
I do.
while you're here and one of your fluids is on me.
Yeah, just want to shit on my."
Yeah. Do you think if I sweep the floor, they'll,
Yeah.
they'll give me 7?
Yeah, but it's just like
Just
this
trying to get in, baby.
There's like too much going on in this country now, where like people are like every article is like, "This is the only thing you'll need to see today."
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it's like everybody needs to be inspired. It's like, just go to work.
Yeah.
Life is horrible. Go to work and shut up.
Yeah.
Stop fucking acting like every day is going to be a movie that you need to fucking be inspired, and cut this shit out, man.
Yeah.
There's comedian friends we have that are fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And I hope they burn in hell. And I don't mean to say, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but like, they are such fucking loot. Like every day they think they're in a movie, and they think they're like, "I'm
hero,
so
yeah.
proud of." It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
Will you shut? Because here's what happens.
Don't you have dreams though? Do you?
Of course I
Dreams
do,
that-
but
that
I
you want-
shut.
that
I
you want
do
to have.
just do. I don't
do,
fucking
yeah.
get it. Here's the problem. When you fucking,
job.
I'm proud of all these Parkland kids. What if one of them turns out to be a rapist in
Yeah.
a week?
Yeah.
Remember?
Right.
Remember all these celebrities that
Right.
we all talked about how great they were? And
Right.
then we found out they were a rapist, or they
Yeah.
were doing shit to women they shouldn't be doing. And then
Right.
everybody's got to walk that back. Hey, maybe don't go out there and lionize strangers.
yeah.
You fucking infant.
No, it's dangerous, and it's not gonna end very well.
Yeah, I read a
I love
blind
Deb,
item
so
yesterday.
proud of David
You're gonna-
Hogg.
Right.
What's
You're
your
gonna-
blind item?
It was implying that
what is
Tom
a
Hanks
blind
was
item?
that's like where they just do like Hollywood gossip without any names, but
Okay.
and then like people in the comments guess who it is.
Yeah.
But it was like it
That's
was
like that's when you're sodomizing yourself in the bathroom so you can come, and you're looking at the New York Post. And, that's like, I have never came without backdoor action. What
You
is
wish.
the blind item?
It was just basically implying Tom Hanks was a champion of the Me Too movement, but a bad guy.
Where was that?
It was on 6 Crazy Nights, I think.
Oh, and
was like
I know that.
Yeah,
Crazy
yeah.
Days and Nights.
Yeah, that one.
I just feel like power will corrupt anybody. I mean, Tim has a little bit of it, and look at the,
Let me tell you right now, I have boys chained to the wall in my house. Alan Finn tries to get them to do bringers. Let me tell you, you are a star. My roommate does bringer shows.
And that was after your Gotham Comedy Live.
Yeah,
that wasn't even
right. That was after my $500 set at Gotham Comedy Live.
Yeah.
Did you guys read about the school that had like 5-pound buckets of rocks in every classroom
To throw at the kids?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true.
I love it. I like it.
What are you going
Sounds
to do?
made up.
You got to do something. Yeah. Did I talk about this already? I wrote a sketch a few years ago. It was a commercial for Campbell's soup, but you just keep the cans of soup in your bag and throw them at mass shooters.
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see if that works.
Campbell should
All right.
sponsor that.
Cut that out.
Here's the thing also. Here's the thing nobody wants to talk about mass shooters. This is true. The majority of them come from houses without moms and dads. They come from single-parent households. The majority of mass shooters.
Yeah. But then
Right.
how do you
then
fix that?
You fucking don't. What do you mean? How do
You
you
get
fix?
rid
It's
of
actually,
all straight
That's a very
white
easy fix.
males.
You don't have to overturn an amendment. You don't have to do anything. You have to have a cultural conversation where you say maybe it's not a good idea that kids are raised by single parents. In maybe that's not the optimal situation because it's very hard, and many of those kids are statistically less likely to finish school. Many of them end up in prison. Many of them end up poor. So maybe we should just look at that. I'm not saying we have to do anything.
Nobody plans
I'm
to
not saying-
raise
What
their
are we
kid
going to
by a
tax
single
the
parent.
rich people?
That is true. People do plan that. Unfortunately, now people do that. Also, I
You
would
think
just.
it's too much like You Go Girl?
I'm not saying to shame anybody, but listen, if we're going to talk about every other fucking thing, if we're going to talk about guns, if we're going to talk about male privilege, if we're going to talk about how we raise boys, I'm all for that. Why don't we also talk about the fact that statistically 90 point something percentage of these shooters come from single parent homes? Is that not worthy of entering into the discussion?
That's a good point. If we have any listeners who are single mothers, get your fucking shit together, lady.
No, I mean, listen, there's a lot of amazing single mothers. My grandmother was a single mother. A lot of great people out, that do, but at the end of the day, we got to talk about everything or nothing. Like, you want to talk about video games, you want to talk about the availability of guns, you want to talk about males and aggression and toxic masculinity and all that. Okay, but let's also talk about the fact that, you have kids being raised probably by parents that are overworked. They can't really, it's...
Yeah. But you keep hearing about the shooter, and it's a lot of people being like, I was nice to him, and then his foster mother being like, I did everything I could.
Yeah.
I
What
don't
are they
know.
going to say?
It just
We
seems
sucked?
like-
They're not going to say we sucked.
But it just seems like this wasn't something that could be help. I don't know.
Very possibly not. And very possibly you could.
It just seems like gun control is the best thing you could do.
No, I agree with you. I think we should have gun control, but I still think these things will happen. I think these things will happen. And at the end of the day, I still think we should make it a lot harder to get a gun.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
White shooters, though, right? All of them white?
Nicholas Cruz?
Nicholas Cruz was
But-
Hispanic, I think. I mean,
that's
Nadal
like-
Hassan at the U.S. military base shot up a bunch of people.
Right.
Omar
Joe-
Mateen.
Yeah, the
Omar Mateen.
Omar
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Virginia Tech.
Good. Well, that was a good point, Matt. Matt's like, they're all white.
No, I was gonna say,
Book
like,
me.
white
Can I do a
parents
set
should,
at the Village
hit their
Lantern?
kids.
They're all these white men are killing everyone. Can I do a set in Brooklyn, please? I'm 48 years old.
Village Lantern, Brooklyn.
I'm a very cute looking 53-year-old. Is this going to work?
Hey, kids.
Yeah,
Shelby,
like-
come home and feed me gumbo, please. Feed me some gumbo from your
Sandwich
tea.
did a compliment in there.
Well, okay, so this is technically an organized crime podcast,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So let's talk about a true gangster, Mr. Jordan Peterson.
Oh, the postmodernists. How great would it be if they found that he was a mass murderer?
Probably,
It
yeah.
would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he's a guy that's so methodical. You're like, oh, you could probably have some body somewhere that you did the right thing,
You went to see him speak recently, right?
I did. A buddy of mine, Ari Shafir, had an extra ticket, and we went. And I like the guy, like a lot of what he says. It's not for me. Like, I'm not into just
it's
sitting.
not.
Well, I'm just not. I don't want to sit in a 2-hour lecture of talking about every human being's a miracle and how to raise your kids. I don't
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
Like I
Is that
I'm-
his thing?
Well, his thing is like, it's a defense of like Western civilization and capitalism, which is why everyone, all the people, mainly the people that we know hate him. But he talks about, personal responsibility and doing things. I think a lot of
And
people
making your bed.
Yeah, all of that shit, which is great. I just don't need. I found something in my life that I do, and I'm trying to get good at, and I wish it wasn't what it is. I wish it wasn't comedy. I wish it was anything else.
Right.
But I found it, so I think it's less applicable to me. Like I just sit there. Like I never like to feel like I'm in a factory, and I feel like it's a factory. It's like you see all these people waiting outside, and they could show up with the book, and they've got like these eyes. They're wide eyed.
I'm a rock star.
They really believe and. I'm a cynical guy. When Jordan Peterson's like, how to get ahead, be a good person. I'm like, well, okay, I kind of get what you're saying, but also, there's. So I mean, he was good. I met him backstage quickly and said hello, and that is supplanting comedy. I will tell you that.
You think?
Yeah, people need more than just jokes, and people like
need
that.
Ideas.
They need somebody to contextualize what's going on right now because the world is so chaotic.
Right.
And I think that to an extent that will supplant comedy. Like he's doing a theater tour across America. I mean, there's some major theaters he's going to do, and there's other intellectuals, public intellectuals, that are doing that too. Because comedians used to say edgy shit, now they don't. The only people saying really truly edgy stuff right now are public intellectuals. Comedians are kind of, sad. Beta male guys who just are desperate to have a career on any platform,
right?
YouTube Red, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So they don't want to rock the boat. What made comedians interesting for years was rocking the boat. The idea that they would say a thing and everybody would be like, "Ooh, I can't believe he's saying that." Now it's like you're not finding that from comics. You're finding on either side.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, listen, if you want to come out and talk about how great communism is, do that. But no one's even doing that. They're just fucking. It's a very soft touch that comics have now. It's a very soft touch, like, hey, have you ever been in tipping and blah blah? And it's like it's not, nobody cares. It's like soft, and then you see these guys go speak, and they're willing to offend people, and they're willing to tackle these big issues, and people are just more excited by that.
Do you think a lot of it is just kind of like provocative for provocative's sake, though?
No, I think I think some of it is, but I think we're at a point where, we need to have arguments. And I think right now, no matter what you do, if you enter into a certain sphere, you're going to offend people, and it's going to be provocative. If you have anything to say, if you have anything to say, it's going to be provocative. Most comics have nothing to say.
Right.
They have a lot of good jokes that they've written. They're like nice jokes that are like, I was in the park and it's like, they're nice jokes, but they have no perspective. They have nothing to say because they're 68. They've lived with a roommate for their whole life.
Right.
They have no life experience.
Right.
They have nothing to say.
Right.
They have no perspective.
Yeah.
They are animals.
Yeah.
So, no. I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad way. But the reality is, they don't have anything to say.
Yeah.
So
that is the problem with a lot of people. They enter this without doing anything interesting with their. With their lives.
I like to take it in a bad way though. What you just said, like you don't mean it in a bad way, but like it is sad, to just live, 2 mics a day or whatever, and
it's sad
10 years of this or whatever.
Yeah.
It's sad when your girlfriend picks out your hoodie every day.
Yeah.
No, it's not sad. Come on.
Yeah.
She lost a bunch of weight. She might get out of here soon. Are you worried about that?
Yeah.
She looks good.
No, we're gonna
She
have a
looks
baby.
good.
I'm gonna.
You better
lock
put something
it down.
in there. Yeah.
I'm gonna anchor that.
She looks good now. I'm thinking about
He
smashing.
texted me on Valentine's Day. He's like, she posted like her weight loss picture. He's like, yo, you take care of them titties, boy. I'm like, what?
She looked great.
Yeah.
When you first started dating her, she looked like me, but she's really turned herself around now.
Oh my god.
And no, and I it was like, but she's really turned it around now to a point where it's like, wow.
Hey Shelby, congratulations.
What you doing in New Orleans?
It's Easter.
Yeah, oh, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
See, I'm the one that always goes out of town. Deb never goes out of town, but it's nice to be alone in your own house.
Yeah.
When the lady's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Things can get weird.
Nothing better.
Anyway,
You were saying
one thing I saw.
make it your own.
One thing I saw Jordan Peterson say was that a lot of times there's too much compassion for people, and people don't need that much compassion.
I think he's probably right and wrong there. I think that like it's hard to parse a statement like that because it's so vague, and that is a criticism of him. I think is kind of is genuine.
He's in Canada too.
He's kind of a vague guy. But I in terms of, I mean, because listen, I know a lot. I'm an addict, and I know a lot of people that are addicts, and a lot of times our addictions were actually enabled by people that were trying to be compassionate. I know a lot of people who are 25, 30 years old that live at home, whose parents support them, who've not gone out and gotten a job, who live in their parents' basement, who've not grown as people, and their parents are helping them, quote unquote, but really hurting them by trying to be compassionate.
Right.
Does that mean, are we a compassionate society in America? No. That's the other issue. No,
right.
no. If you don't have health insurance, we're not compassionate. If you don't have a place to live, we're not compassionate. So I wouldn't agree in the public sphere, in the civic sense. We're not really that compassionate as a country, but intrapersonally, are there instances where people are too compassionate? Sure, but no, and that's where certain things with a guy like Peterson, because the country is bifurcated along these two lines. You have a binary. You have everybody on the left, everybody on the right. Everybody hates each other. Everybody's on war footing. He has to kind of be willfully obtuse on certain things because he's going against somebody. So when you're going against somebody, you have to then kind of minimize the weaknesses of your argument. This isn't happening in a bubble. He's out there in the there's people on the other side that are saying we need universal basic income. Every business should be nationalized. Profit is horrible. Capitalism's evil. There's no such thing as a meritocracy.
Yeah.
And he's fighting against that.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is that a lot of those people that want total power and control over your life, and they're doing it in the guise of compassion. And by the way, if you look at history, a lot of the most murderous movements in history have been people trying to eliminate inequality. They have been under the guise of compassion. All this speech, in colleges, this guy goes to show up at a college, he can't get a word out because people run on the stage and some fat lady with blue hair runs on the stage and starts waving a piece of oak tag that says patriarchy.
Yeah.
And she's doing it.
Takes a dump on the stage.
Supposedly, right.
She takes a dump and Matt goes to clean it up.
Does anyone believe that that's out
Can
of
I do 5?
Does anyone believe that this woman is a compassionate person and that she's trying to help people? Or does she want to silence any opposition and want attention and things like that?
Right.
So I mean, but no, we're not a compassionate country. That's why I'm not a full on Republican conservative because you have to be honest, and we're not a compassionate country at all.
Yeah,
at all.
For sure. I also wanted to ask you because people go, oh, why do people join organized crime? But there is something nice about being part of a crew.
Yeah.
And I think there's something nice about the sort of hierarchy of it.
Well, there's something about organized crime. And I grew up in a town in Long Island that grew up in the 90s. The 90s was kind of the tail end of organized crime. They had pretty much lost everything. I mean, listen, it's still going on, but they by that time, they had been years and years.
Kind of a joke now, right?
Right. They had been years and years from the ability to buy judges. They had no political influence. I mean, you're talking about at one time, their influence reached into the highest levels of government, to the Oval Office, you know? Right. Now, they can't do any of that. They've lost that ability. Everybody rats. The surveillance now, the technology, they're able to kind of turn everybody. Nobody's killed for ratting. They all go open up strip clubs in Arizona. There's no fear. Other mafia there is. Russian mafia, Albanian, the Rustage. Those guys don't fucking rat because they will take you out.
And they're doing better.
Yeah, MS-13 rules by fear. They'll put your head on a fucking pike in the middle of the town.
What about your family? Do they take down your family
yeah,
too?
a lot of those will do it. They'll a lot of those groups will not let you in until they know who your family is. In the old country or whatever, and they're able to.
Didn't somebody say that recently? They were like the mistake the mafia made was sparing people's families.
Yeah, Frank said
that's Frank Terranova.
Yeah, Frank Terranova. He said if the first guy that ratted, they just killed his family and made it super brutal, nobody would have ever ratted again.
Yeah, and
I mean that's
absolutely.
a good theory.
The problem is the government. The surveillance got to a point in the RICO and everything where they had they had you on tape and they're basically 30, 40 years.
Yeah,
and your fucking family, and then people just fucking started flipping and that. But the town that I grew up in was a mob town. It was a town that was a summer community in Nassau County. It was called Island Park. It was like a bunch of bungalows that then people started to build bigger houses, and this was where Paulie from Goodfellas lived, who was a captain in the Lucchese family. Henry Hill lived there. This guy Phil Basile lived there, who was like, he owned like a ton of these bars, like the Action House, where you would get like some pretty big musical acts and shit. And it was a town where like was my dad. When my dad landed there in the 70s with my mom, my dad was like, it was a tough town. Like you wouldn't open your mouth. People would get knocked out and like bars and shit. Like, you kept to yourself.
Don't say nothing to the police. Yeah.
No, you didn't rat. You didn't. But everybody took care of each other, like.
I think people like that order of things.
Well, they like that order, and especially now because the fucking, what's the other option? Walmart? You know what I mean? Like the mafia is gone. Like,
they're not going to take care of you.
We gave you a raise. You're now making $8.95 an hour. And you're like, right. You're just eating cat food during your break in the break room.
Yeah.
So because the mafia has been, run out of town, and we've replaced it with fucking soulless corporate fiefdoms that grind people into paste. Yeah, unfortunately, it's fucking,
Yeah, I was listening to a Jay Leno interview. He was like, corporations took over and they're like way meaner. And he's like, at least with the mafia, you get a free drink every once in a while or something,
But like the mob, like my grandmother, I think my dad and somebody else were like moving her boat one day. She had like a little boat and they were moving it. And like a bunch of fucking kids were like chasing my dad because they thought he was stealing her boat. And they like went to tell their dad, they're like, somebody's taking Mrs. Ryan's boat. And it was like, that's the kind of town it was. Like, fuck you, you don't take her boat.
Yeah.
Now, you could see somebody raping and killing your neighbor.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't call anyone. You wouldn't say anything. You'd be like, maybe they're into that.
That's between them.
It's probably kinky.
I got a train to catch.
Yeah. But like, so there is an attraction to being in a group where you're protected, you look out for each other.
It's the anti-Bushwick.
Yeah, when Italians came to the country, they were very skeptical of institutions that weren't the family. So school and the government were things outside of the family. They didn't like Jews, for example, were very comfortable because, historically they had been put in that role of money changers, stuff like that. Jews were a lot more comfortable in higher education, and they were more comfortable in positions of power, within the government, things like that. They were able, and that's why, like, Jews are the most successful minority in the world, is because they, were in a lot of those power positions from very early on that back then weren't power positions. But when Italians and Irish people came to America, like Italians, again, the church and the family were the institutions that they trusted. Right. So you had your own business. You didn't get involved in the government.
They did not like school or
You weren't going to
reading.
be a producer.
Right.
Not a producer. You weren't going to be a professor. You're going to open up fucking Sal's Bakery because you could control it. You were the master of your own domain. And and when you were operating businesses like that in a country like this, you needed protection. You needed somebody to go out there and fucking have your back. And that's, I think that was the legitimate reason a lot of people joined these organizations. Nobody was handing Italians anything when they got here. Nobody's handing Irish people anything. They fought for it. And a lot of times they did shit illegally to secure their place. I mean, but that's kind of what you would expect from an immigrant group without the skills, without the fucking position.
Papers.
Yeah, that's what it is. Bitch. It's nice.
Matt's getting more racist on the show, and it's nice.
He's trying anything he can.
Yeah, dude. Dude,
No,
whatever
he's
it
letting out a
takes
little
to get
Whatever
a.
it takes.
But I guess we like that in our culture. We like the order and the hierarchy and the like not questioning things. And
There's something soulless about the government. This is what people don't understand that advocate government solutions to everything. What they don't understand is that there's something inherently soulless about. When you ever go to a government office, and I'm not even talking about the DMV, I'm talking about like anything, your recreation office in your town, like, and you just see these fucking fat, useless government employees sitting there. It's gross. Yeah. They're sitting there. They're fucking doing nothing, and they're making an exorbitant amount of money to essentially be useless, like masses of flesh that just sit there. And it's not to say that all government employees are useless. There's some of them, obviously, that are not useless. But there's just this idea that, like, fuck them. It's a bureaucracy. They don't really care. The government doesn't care about you. You know instinctually they don't care about you. You know that. It's an instinct that you have to fight. If you really believe that anyone in a government office gives a shit about you, you have to convince yourself of that, because instinctually you know it's not true. Right. You meet these people, you know it's not true. You hear these politicians talk, you know it's all bullshit. Yeah. But instinctually, then you have to then convince yourself and go, no, but they're true because ExxonMobil also sucks. It's like, yeah, well, of course. Yeah. But
you don't think we can make some changes through policy that could make people's lives better? Or you think it's all on you?
No, I think you can make those changes, but I think the way to make those changes is to keep in mind that have a very realistic understanding of what a bureaucracy is, how it operates, how it drives. And the reality is, if you don't have a reasonable expectations,
Yeah.
you're not going to be happy. So if your expectations are that like the government can end poverty, I mean, that's just, I've seen that recently. The government can end think about that. Just think about that statement.
Yeah.
The government can end it just maybe somewhere down the line, but right now, it's just absurd. So to
billionaires could end it, though. You think?
No. How would billionaires end it?
They give their money to the poor people,
And then what happens?
and
And the poor people utilize that money and do the right thing and invest it well, and then their families aren't also broke. And is that what happens, or
Right.
is there a larger problem than just handing people money?
Right.
I have friends that have inherited money and have nothing now. I mean, this whole idea that you can just give someone money and that's okay.
they know how to use it.
And they know how to use it. They know what to do. They don't have other problems, drugs, alcohol, psychological issues. So they're sociopaths.
Yeah.
They're
Housing.
there's all kinds of issues that people, their intelligence is, there's such a varied plane of intelligence in this country. Some people are Elon Musk. Some people are fucking, as Giannis Papa said recently, barely sliding into human. You have all of those. So yeah, we could do a lot. The government should do a lot more for people. I agree with that. But the idea that it's going to end poverty, it's going to end racism, or it'll end these things. No, that's you can reduce poverty.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But the idea that we're going to end something, that's the
But
expectation.
aren't the rich people hoarding enough money where we could? I mean, I saw that recently. It said billionaires could end extreme poverty 7 times over.
It would depend on what you mean by end extreme poverty. Could billionaires take their money and give it to people, and would that help? Yes. A lot of those people are in situations where they're living under a government that's a tyrannical government, that prevents women from learning how to read. Okay, it prevents people from exercising any type of free speech. It inhibits large segments of the population from acquiring the skills that you would need to have to participate in any kind of economic structure.
Yeah.
So in those countries, can you alleviate poverty simply by giving people money? I don't know. I mean, isn't there a lot more that goes into it? Isn't there the idea that those countries aren't modernized? They don't have a workforce that has the skills. And by the way, America doesn't have a workforce that has the skills for the jobs. Money runs out. You can give anyone money. It's going to run out. Maybe in a generation, maybe in 2. But the idea that you can just alleviate extreme poverty, I think it's a childish idea. There's a lot of obstacles to people. Poverty is the rule. Poverty's been the rule forever.
Yeah.
Wealth is the exception. The countries that are wealthy are the exception. Poverty's been around since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
So the idea that you can end that, we can end now because we have some billionaires, we're just going to end that. To me, when it's been around, it's been with us forever. It's like saying we're going to end disease. It seems to be it's like a lofty idea.
Yeah. There's diseases that have been ended.
Some of them, sure, but disease entirely, no.
Right.
I mean, I think it's the idea that you're going to just end poverty by taking money from people that have figured out a way to make money and giving it to other people. I think that can help, and that can help reduce poverty. But if you don't set up an infrastructure that allows people to get educated and acquire
so the money
skills,
goes into the infrastructure. It goes into the programs and stuff.
Yeah, in a situation where that's okay. I mean, you have people there are people that are marrying 8-year-olds in the world. Like there are countries
Right.
with child marriage. There are countries
I
where
forgot
people
about that.
there are countries where people are getting stoned to
You're
death,
right.
and you're going
Right.
to go in there and say, let's all be coders. Like, there's bigger problems than just fuck rich people. I know that that's terribly unpopular to say right now.
And also, it's better to be fucked by a rich pedophile than a poor one.
100%. Are you stupid? Yeah.
Like I'd rather get come on by Dan Schneider here than have to marry.
God,
No,
yeah.
listen,
Long
I'm with you.
Island,
Listen, we need to socialize things. I think we need to have universal health care. I think we need to do
We
a lot
need a
of things.
little, yeah,
I
a little
agree with
bit
you.
of
Listen,
that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I'm nowhere near as listen. I as I get older, I get more pragmatic, and the idea is that no, you have to social. I believe you have to socialize the healthcare system, and people are going to scream and cry. I believe you have to do that.
Yeah.
I believe that you have to do something about college. I think you have to fuck.
Sure.
I think college has got to go.
Yeah.
I don't think colleges. I think people got to do
Everybody
trade
should learn a
schools.
trade, yeah.
I think colleges
Vocational
Start a
stuff.
podcast.
I think
Get a
college
YouTube
is
channel.
for the most part. I think college is not the model that's sustainable going forward, especially not when you're taking out loans and loans and loans. And people go, we should just have free college. It's like, somebody's got to pay the teacher. So this whole idea that everything's going to be free, people are just going to work for nothing.
Yeah.
This is just not true.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Did you go to college?
I went to college for like a year and then I dropped out.
Yeah, same here.
Hell
You
yeah,
know?
hell yeah.
It's just insane when you look at it because like you need a bachelor's degree to get a regular job now, and
Yeah, but I know guys that are plumbers and union workers that are doing a lot
Skilled
better than
people,
people
yeah.
I know with bachelor's degrees. But there's a weird
but everybody was sold
snobbery.
this idea where it's like they were like you can be whatever you want to be, but you have to go to college and take out some loans because you need a degree,
Yeah.
and then people went to college for like theater and
Yeah, people went to college and they fucking
We should be rioting.
write for BuzzFeed and they make $20,000 a year and they think if they write the right combination of words, they're going to be Deepak Chopra. No. You should get realistic. Your dreams are over. You're done. Have a baby and save your life.
How fun
And
would
I
it
hate
be?
to say it, you know, it's kind of.
This Jordan Peterson tour, I wish it would be like a
Should open for him.
double feature where Tim like reality checks all of his ideas afterwards.
I like Peterson, but when you start talking about everybody's a miracle, I'm like, we're going in the wrong direction, buddy. For me, you're losing me.
right. Some people
You're
are
losing me.
Some people are cannon fodder.
Yes, no, not everyone's a miracle. I mean, is everyone a miracle? That means that Hitler, like, what about all these evil people that have done horrible, heinous things? Are all miracles? No, they're it's the Bill Hicks joke. It's like, no, it's your biological reaction.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure.
But again, we're living in this world of miracles and heroes. And
Babies
it's
are-
mythological.
yeah.
We're going back to, and Peterson talked about that shit, where you kind of lose me. Start talking about the hero's journey and slay the dragon and bring the gold back to the village. And I'm like, no, we don't need more magical fucking thinking. This isn't Middle Earth.
Right.
We need logical adults that go, dude, stop. You want to be a hero? Shut up, go to work, raise your kids. That's it. You know?
yeah.
Believe in things, do whatever you want, change the things you can change. But at the end of the day, this mythological thinking that Peterson advocates is where I kind of, and I like the guy and I think he's right about a lot of things, but he loses me because I'm like, we don't need to believe in more garbage. This country does not need more fucking clowns, magicians, we need real deal
They
people.
should be put on a train. Wouldn't that be a funny Holocaust?
You know, I mean, it is what it is, you know?
Wouldn't that be a funny genocide? It's just like you go to
Train of clowns.
You set up a fake America's Got Talent audition.
Yeah.
And just put them all on a train.
I tweeted to ISIS. I'll tell you the locations of the America's Got Talent auditions.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not a bad idea.
They kicked me off Twitter for a day.
Yeah. Did you go to that audition, by the way?
No, I
Have
would
you been?
never.
Yeah.
I would never.
Yeah.
What's the goal there?
I don't know.
What's the
That's
goal?
sad.
To get on stage and have Heidi Klum tell you whether you're funny?
Yeah.
I mean, what are
They
we
can hit a
all
button.
trying? What are we all trying to do?
Yeah,
here?
yeah. I saw
What's
this
the end
guy there.
game?
I saw this guy there. He went up to like one of the producers and he was like, do you know how much longer? Because we drove up here from South Carolina for my son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My son
South Carolina?
who loves women, and then what's he performing? He's doing a retrospective of Britney Spears through the ages because he loves her. He loves pussy, my son. And then the kid gets out. He's like, you know, it's like the problem
Which is totally fine. Not everyone has to be the kind of gay that Tim is.
Yes, you do. You have to suck off people and not like it. You have to suck them off. Listen, everybody from Long Island does that audition, you know, like there are comedians in Long Island whose name is like, Fettuccine Zabayon, and he comes out to the audition. And he's like, "Hey, hey, my wife was in the kitchen. That fat pig Mexicans," and they're like, "All right, we don't know."
You had a post.
All right, we don't know. There's like an indifferent button.
Tim had a post a few years ago. It was like the fake bio of like a Long Island comic. And
Yeah.
one of the lines was, he talks about stuff we deal with every day, like Mexicans and his wife, Rosalie.
It's true. He's like, he's the funniest guy in the office. Sorry, Chuck.
Yeah.
And then it'll always end with like, never forget 9/11, support the troops.
American flag
he has
emoji.
performed at Atlantic City. It's never a specific thing. It's always the name of a city. You have seen him at Atlantic City, Borgata. Yeah. No, I mean, listen. The problem with everything right now is that social media has exposed that everyone's a loser. But the problem is everyone is pretending that
Everyone's
we're not
still alive.
But everybody has a shared delusion that we're all not losers now because we can't admit how big of losers we are.
Right.
Because we're all kind of plugged into this thing. But when you see, like, I put up a picture with Peterson and like people are like commenting on it, like, no, this guy, he sucks. And it's like, how much of a loser do you have to be to comment on a stranger's photo of someone that you don't agree with? Like, how little do you have to have going on to do that? But the problem is that this is fucking where we're at. So people have no problem going on and be like, hey, I'm driving to the American Got Talent audition because I always knew as a boy I was special. My dad had told me when he was beating my mom in the backyard because she had gotten loud, and in fairness to him, she was kind of grating, but he was beating her, and he said to me, son, you're going to really do something. So I got my guitar and I got my song parody, and I'm fucking, no.
What's this thing that you do where you don't want people in show business, but you're in it?
My thing, well, I want people in show business that should be in it.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of talentless frauds out there.
Yeah.
And that's the reality.
What about people that are like in their own lane,
Here's
though?
my
Like
problem.
the ventriloquists or like.
Great. I don't shit on them ever. You ever heard me say anything bad about
No,
Jeff
no,
Bottom
I
or
was
any of those?
asking. That's
No. Listen,
There's
if
room
you've
at
been
the
doing
table for all of us.
if you've been doing
Yeah,
comedy
yeah.
10 years, here's my problem. And when I shit on show business, this is my problem. Don't tell me you should be famous because you're a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me when I know how fucking narcissistic we all are, how dedicated to this we have to be to get good.
Yeah.
We're doing 3 or 4 spots a night. We're fucking taking these crazy road trips. Don't then tell me that you've also made the time to be a saint.
Yeah.
You've been a phenomenal human being. I'm not saying you're a bad person, but don't tell me that. Don't wrap up your altruism with your fucking agenda to a point where like
Get
you're
outta
telling
here.
me that like, oh, me having like I'm a gay guy, but I don't believe that me having a TV show makes things better for gay people.
Right.
You know? I don't believe that. And if I were to believe that, I would think that would be an incredibly dangerous idea to operate under.
You don't think Black Panther was good for, I don't know, the kids?
I do. I think Black Panther was good for the kids, but the idea that like Black Panther is something that should have happened years ago. You know what I mean? And I think that it's good for it's good for kids to see themselves on screen. I'm not taking that away. Do I think that Black Panther, like the people that were cast in Black Panther, if they were walking around going, all we need to do in this country to really make things better is for me to be in a feature film, I think that would be crazy. I think that would be nuts. Because it's not that just black people should be in it. It's me.
Yeah.
People that have a personal agenda that want to be successful and don't want to admit it. They go, representation matters, and it absolutely does matter.
Yeah.
But it also matters if it doesn't happen to be you. It doesn't have to be you. And I've heard a lot of people after what happened with Louis, people getting on stage going, well, I've never been on HBO, and season 3 of my show doesn't have a home, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, this is getting weird.
Yeah.
It's getting weird. No, Black Panther's a great thing. And it's good to have gay people see themselves on screen. Black people, 100%. I believe that's, but there also is an issue where Black Panther is also a great movie.
Yeah.
And it's a great movie, not because it's about black. It's a great movie because it's a great movie. And people enjoy it. And it should have happened years ago. But the idea that, like, if you're walking around in this going, I need to succeed, not so that I'm, that I deserve it because I've worked my ass off, but because it's going to help somebody else.
Yeah, that's false.
And listen, it very well may help somebody else, but to operate with that idea, to me, you could be a monster,
Right.
Because you're never going to check yourself.
It's like just because you never jerked off on anybody doesn't mean you deserve
yeah,
a third
yes.
season of
Exactly.
a TV show.
If you
Maybe your TV show stinks and you're not,
Yeah.
you're not, yeah.
If you believe that you succeeding is what needs to happen for the world to be a better place, you can then justify all kinds of crazy shit in the pursuit of that.
Right.
Because you've wrapped up the the world's making progress. If I am successful, that I think that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
I think that's strange. And these people, the majority of these people that are activists, have never seen the inside of a soup kitchen, a homeless shelter. They don't big brother, big sister. They don't mentor anyone.
Right.
They don't volunteer to teach
Collectivism,
people to
yeah.
read.
Post.
They don't do anything. They don't do any. It's never about.
It's never a tangible solution.
never
to the,
tangible. It's never starting
Yeah.
with helping a person. It's showing people on
Yeah.
Twitter that you're a great person.
You retweeted Emma Gonzalez or whatever. Like, oh, I wrote a post about Trump and then I retweeted myself.
Yeah, in 20 years, we're going to walk out of the apartment and there's going to be paintings of Emma Gonzalez in a military
Yeah,
uniform.
listen, man, and
we're all
listen.
going to be, we're going to do our,
With a Cuba patch on her arm.
I think what
Yeah.
those kids are doing is good. I think it's solid. I think it's some of it's great, and I'm not hating on them. What I caution people doing, and people love doing this, are going to do it anyway, no matter what I say, is making heroes out of everybody who you agree with. If you agree with somebody and you think they're doing something good, have that be enough.
Yeah.
Don't make them into a mythological figure. You don't need to, because you know what? Nobody is that perfect. Everybody's going to fall from grace.
Yeah.
That's why you see the left eating themselves constantly, because they create these heroes like Lena Dunham, like Louis C.K. when they write all these articles about he gets it, and Tina Fey, Amy gets it, and then all of a sudden these people do or say something you don't agree with, and then you got to go scorched earth on them and talk about that they're the fucking demons that are,
Yeah.
And it's like, this is just unhealthy, and it goes back to like superstitious, like fucking weird, like fucking burn the witches, mentality. And it's like, just be a rational person, and shoot the Parkland kids, and then ban assault weapons.
Right.
Do some real good.
Yeah. This thing's broken.
The mob is great. Anyone who doesn't understand the mob doesn't understand.
This is another thing I want to talk about, because there was a guy from the DeCavalcanti family who was murdered, and it's constant, like, the thing with the mob is like there's no loyalty, there's no honor, it's constant backstabbing, and that must be a very stressful way to live your life.
Yeah, the guy lived it. The guy that ran that family, and the DeCavalcanti family is what they based The Sopranos on. All of the Rico transcripts became episodes killing the guy because he was gay. That's right, lifted right out of the transcripts. And the guy who ran it was this guy, Vinny Ocean was his nickname. He lived in my town. He lived in a house that looked just like Tony Soprano's house. Amazing. Yeah. And he ran the family.
John D'Amato was the guy who was gay, right?
I think. Maybe not. No, John D'Amato was Alphonse D'Amato's cousin. Maybe he was the one who was gay. I don't know. It's very possible.
I think so, yeah.
But the town that I lived in was in New York, but this guy ran a family in Jersey, and he had, he was a legit guy. And I think he got caught. When they caught him, they brought like 50 FBI agents, a bunch of cars at like 5 a.m. and they took him out of his house. He sang, I think, and then he ended up in Arizona with a strip club selling ecstasy, like kind of everyone else, like Sammy the Bull did. But the problem was, I think the government just, at a certain point, it became too powerful for these guys to truly fight. And the technology advanced to the point where they really couldn't operate in the shadows the way that they used to. You just DNA evidence, fucking forensic.
People wearing wires. They had
people wearing wires.
Go to like sign language.
Yeah. Here's an article I found in The Guardian. The boss of the mafia family on which the Sopranos series is believed to be based was executed by one of his own soldiers because he was gay, and they feared that if news got out, the family would be ridiculed by the rest of the underworld. A Manhattan court has been told, quote, "No one's going to respect us if we have a gay homosexual boss sitting down discussing La Cosa Nostra business," an informant told the court on Wednesday. And when they killed John D'Amato, they couldn't go to the commission to sanction the hit because it would be too embarrassing. So they had to, do it in secret. Just get rid of him.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you tell everyone?
Like,
how does this guy die?
No, we killed him.
Nothing's wrong.
We killed him because he kissed the black woman.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway,
it's I don't even know what they're doing now. Like, I think they're still running some things. I think they're still, they got gambling, they got some drugs. That's the other problem is, like, you had drugs, you had like these guys' sons going out just coked out of their mind, making horrible decisions, beating people up. Nobody had any fucking, like, I remember one guy hit on somebody's wife, like whether it was John Gotti Jr. one of those guys, I forget, in a bar. And
that's a good rule, though, that they.
What?
You can't go after somebody's wife.
No, but he didn't even know. And it was like, he didn't even know. It was just somebody sitting in a bar. And he's like, "Can I buy you a drink?" And then they just paralyzed the guy.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, just stab him in the spinal cord, or what do you mean?
Beat him so bad he was paralyzed.
Oh, okay.
But the reality is, it's like that type of stuff is, you make those decisions when you're coked out and you just like fucking do it. And then all of a sudden, like, you're bringing attention to yourself, you know?
Yeah. Try to fuck this lady without your legs working.
Yeah. I mean, so... But now we got
like, "Excuse me, I have these 2 rings." He like joins them together. Yeah. He's trying to do magic.
Now we got Walmart, so I hope you like it.
Yeah. Now we got Walmart. Anyway, Tim, where can people see you? Are you on the road anytime soon? Or
when does this come out?
Next
April
Wednesday.
4th.
Yeah,
TimDillonComedy.com. All the dates are on there. Tim Dillon Going to Hell podcast. Tim J Dillon, Dillon on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm on the road a lot. The dates are up on the website. Come out. I'm gonna be.
Yeah, please follow Tim. You guys will love all.
You got
of
the
his,
new Netflix.
stuff.
Yeah, that'll come out this summer. I mean, Comedy Central. I did that half. I mean, maybe that's out already. I don't even know. But the Netflix thing will hopefully be out.
Hell yeah.
And I mean that.
Follow Tim on Instagram too. A lot of great food pictures.
Yeah, a
and
lot
whatnot.
of pictures of Italian food. I love Italian food.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah.
Simple.
Thank you, Matt. It's always good. Anytime I can spend time with you.
Whoa, shit.
I
What's
grow
happening?
as an artist and as a person.
Is that true? Ray said last week I would be the type you'd want to fuck. Or I was like right in the middle because I'm like twink and I'm almost.
As long as you're
He's
not.
big for a twink though.
He's perfect as long as he's not on a stage. If he's on a stage, then I'm like, what is going on? But no, this is your perfect right where you are.
You
Sitting
guys
in
are
a chair,
my two favorite bullies.
sitting in a chair in your
1,
house. Marry her.
He's a great.
You gotta marry her. though.
Gonna. It's happening.
Gotta marry her. And
He's a fantastic producer though.
No, that's what he's got to do.
Yeah.
Be a producer.
Yeah.
Have the baby.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know, you just
No, it's a
stand
great-
up here and there. I don't know.
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But have a baby. Save your life.
Yeah. Matt, say the N word real quick and take us out. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody, it's Mike and Matt.
Hey.
Thanks for listening. We also want to say if you're enjoying the show, tell your friends, email us. We like to hear from you guys. Who do you want to see us talk about? What do you want the episodes to be about? What do you want us to cover? Do you like the mob stuff? Do you like when we go off topic? Let us know. We like hearing your feedback. And then if you want to give us money, we have a Patreon.
Yep.
If you pledge $5 a month, you get an extra episode every week, so that's pretty cool. And then if you also want to make a one-time donation, my Venmo is Michael-Recine-2. And we thank you for that. That stuff helps out a lot, you know? $1 a month, whatever you want to give, Michael-Recine-2. A lot of it will go to an operation for Matt's girlfriend who has very large feet. She needs
Fuck you.
She needs feet reduction.
But anyway, yeah.
'Cause you should see this bitch's feet. They're fucking like flip like.
You should see Deb's feet. They're
perfect.
dumb and gross.
Hey. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
And that's it. But God bless.
Bye.